Hey there, friends. I hope all of you are having a good day. I received something super special in the mail. It is my monthly Patreon mailer from Creative Freedom Paper. This is Creatively Free to Be Me. You've heard me talk about Leanne. My planner is way neglected right now, and I thought, well, maybe she might have some things in this gorgeous mailer that would help me kind of get back into the spirit of decorating my composition book planner. I'm preferring these days to really focus on my commonplace. This just seems to be where I'm landing these days, is just the commonplace instead of the planner. But the planner is a 6-month planner, and I need it because that's, I plan way far out, and the commonplace is just not set up to do that. So we're going to crack this open and see what it is. Okay, it says, woohoo, your April Patreon mailer is here. This month's mailers are pretty fun and unique. Oh, okay. Inside, you will find various papers and even some fabric scraps. Everything in here is a tidbit from the current journal collection I am working on. I thought it would be fun for you to be able to use some of the same papers and such that I am working with in your own journals and planners this month. It also gives you a fun sneak peek at the journal collection to come. I hope you enjoy and happy creating. How cool is that? That just kind of all flowed together. It's kind of like exactly what I needed at this moment. So we're going to take Leanne's collection of fun bits, and she sends the best bits and bobs ever. And we're going to see what's in here and what we can, I need to, y'all know my mojo is just not exactly where it needs to be these days. So let's see what she sent. Oh, okay. So I believe that her theme is going to be a celestial theme. This is a star cluster in Hercules, photographed by Yerkes Observatory through a 24-inch telescope. A photograph of the same star cluster by the Mount Wilson Observatory through a 60-inch reflecting telescope is shown on page 2. This is obviously the parade of the zenith constellation. So I don't know what her theme is for her journals, but I'm thinking it's stars, it's celestial. Look at that beautiful paper. Oh my goodness. That fabric is wildly gorgeous, isn't it? So I'm going to jump off on my decorating with all of these fantastic papers. Look at that. Very mystical. And speaking of mystical, when you are at a certain level of patronage with Miss Leanne, she does tarot readings, and she'll do like a collective reading. They are marvelous. They're just so wonderful. My friend used to read tarot for me all the time, and it's one of those things that I think that we all kind of feel differently about predictions, so let's just kind of throw it out there. That's just kind of where we'll start. There's there are people who think, well, that's probably not, people think differently about the whole tarot reading thing. To me, because I have experienced it, and I think that before you decide on something one way or another, I think it's wise to experience that thing. And sometimes experiencing the thing will set you on a whole different path, a whole different feeling about your opinion of the thing. So, you know, tarot, some people go, oh, well, that's, you know, that's not spiritual. And I'm like, you know, I think that spirit is inside you. And, you know, we are made up of spirit. And so when you are met with the cards and you're you know, you're shuffling through the cards, is that not spirit led? Because we are all spirit, you know. I think that it's something to think about. And I think, you know, in this time of, you know, we can make a snap decision about anything. And then it's not just that we've made the snap decision, it's that we are going to talk about it and, you know, maybe disagree with others who have a different opinion. And, you know, I just think that it's, you know, maybe it's wise to experience a thing before you judge a thing. Getting back to the cards, my friend read for me at a time in my life where, and she did palm reading too. She was an amazingly in tune person. She still is. I don't see her anymore like I did, because our paths diverged. So I just don't see her like I used to. And for me, at that point in my life, I just needed some uplifting and I needed some validation. And to me, the whole reading tarot, you know, or doing palm reading or whatever. I mean, I understand that there are certain texts that go, ooh, that's a no-no. But you know what? I mean, if it comforts you and makes you feel better and even causes you to think, that it gives you some encouragement. And no matter what, y'all, you can always find some encouragement in, you know, in things like that. And that's why I love it. That's why I love Leanne's readings, because she very much, she obviously has a gift for it and a talent. It's just a joy to, you know, to get that video with our Patreon membership and be able to kind of tune in on what she is, you know, what the cards are showing for the collective. And I really do like that it's for the collective. My friend was never wrong. It was odd. I've had odd things happen in my life. Spirit-led things. I remember one time I was just in a pickle, and just, it was a time in my life when, there was a time in my life when I had 4 jobs. And half the time I kept clothes in my car because I was gone all the time. I had moved to a city where I knew no one. And, you know, when you're pursuing your dream, then, you know, somebody's gotta keep the home fires burning. And that's what I did for about 5 years. Anyway, I was at work one day. I was at another job at a place called the Schroeder Company. And so I went to, one of my jobs for that company was to go to the post office and pick up the mail. And I did that. So I walk in the post office and I am, I asked for a mail and I think I had to buy stamps or something else. The clerk there was a lady that I had never seen before. And I had been going there for a couple of years. And it was odd for me to not see, the very same people all the time. And there was nobody else in the post office. She was a woman of color. She had a green eye and a brown eye. Again, I had never seen her before. I thought, well, she's just, maybe a temp or something like that. So we're just bantering back and forth, and she went, honey, and I was like, yes, ma'am. And she said, you need to take a trip to the mountains. And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, your elders are trying to tell you something. And having had not paranormal, but out of the ordinary experiences before, I was like, oh, okay. I said, thank you for telling me that. And she took my hand and she said, no, honey, it's real important that you get to somewhere and you listen to your elders. And I was like, oh, dear Lord. Again, nobody in the post office. Dead silence, in a post office. I mean, you don't usually you hear something going on, right? So again, moved to a city, didn't know anybody, had a weird, out of the ordinary experience at the post office, went home, and it was my policy on Monday, I would make a big pot of spaghetti, and that's what I would eat all week. So I drove back to our apartment. And, this was before cell phones, so couldn't really stay in touch, with Chris. And so there was nobody to talk to. And I just kind of sat. Got out my spaghetti. I didn't even turn on the TV. Just sat for a while and thought about what just happened. Now, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, during this time. It's funny, we're doing celestial things, and I had a spiritual experience. I was shocked, I guess. This, the place that I want to get to in the conversation. So I decided at that point that I would have to find some time and space and energy in the day to help myself feel better, because I was coming unraveled, and since I was the one keeping everything together, I could not come unraveled. I think that was like on a Friday, so I had a good, I had Saturday to think about it, but at that time I was working 7 days a week. I think that I was off on that Saturday. And then I worked on Sunday. I worked at the theater on Sunday. And on that Monday, I went back to the other job, to the post office where the lady had been. And I walked in and I thought, well, maybe I should just say, hey, can you tell me more, or can you be a little more, when things like that happen to you, don't question, just go with it. And definitely, don't like call that person back or whatever and say, can you clarify this? Because that's, it's silly. You know, they told you something important, you know. You don't ask for specifics when somebody does that, when you have an experience like that. But I did, even knowing better, I did it anyway. We are just putting some really gorgeous bronze paint on here. Isn't that pretty? And it really does go so nicely with the celestial theme. Anyway, the lady at the post office who told me I needed to go to the mountains and chat with my elders was not there. So I asked, you know, there was a lady here the other day, and she was a clerk, and I don't even think I got her name. I said, but she was a very unusual lady. She had a green eye and a brown eye. And so the clerk that I was talking to was like, what? And I said, yes, she had a green eye and a brown eye, and she was just so nice, and I just wanted to say hello to her. And the postal clerk looked at me really funny, and she said, there's nobody here that meets that description. I said, she might have been a temporary person. She said, we don't have temporary employees. She said, we have a regular staff here. And then she looked at me and she was like, Tammy, you should know that. And I was like, yeah, I know. I said, you know, I've been coming here for a couple of years. I know everybody. I thought it was unusual because I didn't know her. And the lady was like, nope, nobody meeting that description. And so I was like, and quickly, you know, changed the subject because I didn't want to be branded a crazy person. And you know, if you think back, I bet things like that have happened to you too. And you know, you just have to, that's what I mean. The world is, you know, we live in a universe where the veil between the worlds is super thin. And you just never know when something's going to seep in, and something's going to bleed through, you know, from one universe to the next. And it's all very interesting. I did not go to the mountains. There was no way I could because I worked all the time. But I did take some time to kind of reflect, and definitely to get myself a little more together. I had allowed myself to get out of alignment. You know, alignment is just basically opening yourself up to the good things in the universe and being ready to receive. Ask and it is given, seek and you'll find, knock and the door will be open to you, all that good stuff. But you have to be in the receiving mode, and to be in the receiving mode, it's imperative that you are finding joy in something. It's imperative that you are reacting to the universe in a positive way instead of a negative way. And I think that the message that I got from this wonderful spiritual being, because I'm at a loss to explain it any other way, was exactly what I needed at that point in time. I've had experiences like that before, but that is the one that really stands out largely in my mind. And probably because there was nobody to talk to about it. I didn't have friends. All I had was work. Chris was gone. Not that he'd probably want to talk about anything like that anyway, but, it was just interesting. So, we started off talking about tarot. My friend that used to read tarot cards for me, she also read my palm, and she was super talented. Leanne's got that thing. She's just got that. She's super talented as well. So anyway, this is kind of just a shout out to Leanne and her Patreon site, and it's just a lot of fun to be over there with her. I'm kind of just trying to lift a little bit of paint off here, but I think I'm just going to stop right here because actually we kind of got a lot done, and I'm feeling better about the way that these pages look, just because they're prettier than they're pretty now. They weren't very pretty before. So this is like April 12th, good grief. And then I think April 19th through the 25th. So maybe we can get caught up with the rest of my planner at another time. So I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out today. I hope that you will go to, I've always got Leanne's channel linked below, and her Etsy store is usually linked. But I will put a link to her Patreon so you can go over there and see if you'd like to support my friend over there. Thanks for hanging out. I know this was kind of bumpy and odd, but pay attention. Keep your antenna up. You really never know when that bleed through, when that energy is going to cross between the things that we cannot see and the reality that we call life. Because, like I said, that veil is always super thin. Antenna up. Pay attention. Talk to your elders. See you later, y'all. Bye.